shadows where the whispers dwell, always trying to unring the bell. The red road calls a path less known, with haunted streets where the eerie winds moan. Creatures lurking just beyond the light, not just tales spun to frighten the night. The masquerade of ghosts, they walk along in this gritty realm. We're all too young. Take the red road, let the spirits unfold. Follow Rezneck, Calkins, let the mysteries be told. Through the dark we'll weave into the unknown. With each step we take closer to home. They say it's fantasy, those hidden cries, but the brave-hearted witness the truth in the sky.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Red Road Paranormal. Got a nice little special show for you tonight. It's been about 4 or 5 years now in the making. I'm bringing on you. Everyone that knows me, there's very few mediums that I put my name on. I put my personal stamp on. This lady is amazing. She is one of the very few that I back. So if you could, please bring up Miss DeEtte Renee.
Hello.
What's up, darling?
Hi, how are you?
Doing good. How you doing tonight?
It breaks my heart. It has been 4 or 5 years we've been trying. It has been.
Yeah.
Whew.
You know, whether to get you on here or me on with you.
Yeah.
What's up, Rick? So, you know, we cross paths at events. We cross paths with friends' parties and stuff like that and get-togethers.
Yeah.
But this here is the very first time we've actually gotten on together.
It is. And on my show, I don't interview anymore. So
Yeah, I know.
I gave up interviewing.
So I go from being in the comments of your shows to you being on mine.
That's right. I'll take it. I'll take it. And we only had to schedule it, what, 3 months ago, 4 months ago?
Right?
And then I got sick and I was like, oh my God, Lord, don't take my voice. If I have to cancel, he's going to just be like, no way. Just come on, be silent.
I'd have to drive my ass down there by you.
You'd have to.
Listen here, young lady.
I'm going to suck on my cough drops, my tea, and get through this.
So okay, I got my
coming and going.
I got my drink right here too.
There you go. Bet your mine's weaker than yours.
No, mine's straight. Not spiked with nothing.
Mine's
I'm a good boy tonight.
Girls with lavender. So there you go.
All right, I got plain old Sprite.
There you go.
No caffeine even.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
Yep. So now you've been a part of a bunch of different projects lately. Yeah. You've been on a run for the last few years. You wanna talk a little bit about that?
Which one?
All of them. Well, first off, what's been your favorite project you've been on?
Well, up until now, probably the Séance, but the Séance Two, not the Séance One, the Séance Two.
Okay, I haven't seen that one.
And well, that's because neither one of them have actually come out. The Séance One is actually in it's out there, but it's in film festivals right now. So that went straight to film festivals, and that's amazing. Because a lot of people don't know about the Rolf House, and the story of it, but it's such an incredible, beautiful story. And what has been told about it's false. They're not even getting the story correct. Some of them have made it as this scary, demonic horror thing.
Mm-hmm.
And ones that haven't, they got the story wrong anyway, Yep. So when we went in there, it was an absconding adventure is what it was to begin with. So, I got Neil Gibbons actually asked, kind of put out a post there that he wanted to meet him to do a seance. And he met me a couple of times. And I guess secretively, he really was hoping I'd answer the ad. And I did.
Yeah.
And he was like, cool. What do you want, for it? And I said, it's going to take about an hour. I'll charge you 1 hour's worth of work.
Yeah.
It was more than an hour. Because he was talking to Larry Eisler III in the background about doing a film project about this. And he had no clue that me and Larry knew each other, let alone we were best friends. Yeah. And of course, Larry and I weren't talking. So the first, and for me, it went from being a 1 hour seance to being an investigation to being an event that ended up having police and security at. It was incredible. But we did a 2-day investigation, which I went in blind. and found this beautiful love story of this family, and multiple different timelines. And we did a seance that Neil was shooting for like 250 people around circle. It only hit about 150, but the town had to be, they had town board meetings over this. I mean, like,
Yeah.
because the numbers he's going for such heights. But I went into trance. I mean, I didn't just channel. I like out cold, consciousness gone. And what we thought was going to come through with the people of the house, it wasn't. It was, I guess, like 30 some different spirits came through, messages in about 60 minutes of the loved ones around us. So it was so dynamic and so amazing. And but I kept feeling like we still didn't tell the story. So I begged him for a year. We need to go back. We need to go back. And finally we made that happen in January. So we went back in January, and they surprised me this time. Because there's a great granddaughters of the lady. Her name is Lorancy Venema. And Lorancy is the first technical true possession that's been documented in history.
Yep.
And after this occurred for her, she left the area. She actually moved to one state and then ended up in California. And her great granddaughters just found out about this last fall. You know what I mean?
I actually met the granddaughters.
Oh.
I was down at the Roth House this past
love that.
Halloween.
I love that. And I was so sad because I couldn't be there, because I did a trance night with Neil the night before, and then I had to do another trance in Duluth the next night. So I missed that. So the very first thing that I shot when we went back down was, we brought in people to surprise you. And here's these two ladies. And the first words out of my mouth were, I know you. You look just like Lorancy. And I looked at the other one. I said, you look like Mary. You got Mary energy. And the one going Mary energy is going, what are you talking about? Like, because they're both of Lorancy's generation, of Lorancy's. But we ended up getting pictures of them side by side with the pictures.
Yep.
One looks identical to Lorancy, and the other one looks identical to Mary. And it was so neat because I went to trance again. And Lorancy came through and Mary came through, and I guess it got some amazing stuff. So, the Roth House Seance, 2 Bloodlines. It's really, it's coming. But Larry needs time. It's been shot, it's been done. The story from the lady's mouth is through now. So I'm so excited about that. And just to let their story be told.
Definitely.
Without all the horror and the anger and the hypnosis guy that wrote the original book that, blew things up that really, so.
Yeah, it's crazy how people like to embellish things.
Yeah. Well, it sells tickets. It sells books, it sells tickets.
The one thing I felt when I was there, it almost felt like that place was like a spiritual train station.
Isn't it gorgeous? It's just timelines.
The energy. It's so many, timelines.
It's just time, and it's honestly, it's not like there's a lot of spirits going through, because there isn't. I mean,
no,
I've slept in there 2 or 3 times. I always sleep in Dorothy's room. Probably 4 nights, 5 nights I've slept there.
Yep.
I've spent countless hours there, and it really is only the few different timelines that are happening that the people show up.
Yep.
So, but each room's got a story, so it's really kind of cool.
Yeah. Now, in one of the bedrooms, me and Mike were actually in there together. Kind of felt like there's somebody that like almost watches from the closet.
Okay, from the closet, that would probably be Ace's.
Yep.
Ace's room.
It's
up the stairs and straight over.
Yep, exactly.
Ace's room. That's the husband's room. And that was Dorothy's husband. It was also the room, what they believe is the room of the second gentleman that owned the house.
Okay.
They believe it's his room too at some point. But it would make sense because I'm allowed in the room, but I'm not allowed to sit on the bed. I have to stay at the doorways. He's not like me near his bed. He's like, you're not my wife. You're not my wife. So.
Yeah, come to think of it, I don't think we had any females that sat on that bed that night.
Mm-hmm. We
had one that sat in the chair.
Yep.
Or on the floor.
Yeah. which is really neat because the room adjoining it is Dorothy's room, and a lot of people sit on that bed. That feels inviting to them. It feels like,
Yeah.
okay, you're fine. You can come in here. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Very cool. Very cool.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I definitely want to go back, spend some more time there. It left questions with me. It really did.
It's
Mm.
it's an amazing. I mean, even my granddaughter's been there and did her own walkabout through it and
Yeah.
hit everything. I mean, everything. It was like, whoa, so
That's when we encourage them from a young age and we help them. They are amazing. They
they
have
are.
that connection from the start. It
Yeah.
hasn't been basically brainwashed out of them,
Well,
you know.
we're told, from a young age, and probably rightly so. I mean, that used to
Yeah,
be a very scary thing. If you think about when they started telling everybody it was make believe, it's during a scary time. It wasn't a time to be
yeah.
safe. Those times are over though. And I think generations are changing with it. Like we were talking last night. My granddaughter, we know she's got abilities. Her parents know it. Her parents
Mhm.
are, they never tell her it's make believe. I never tell her it's make believe. They tell her to trust herself.
Yep,
And it's a safe place for her to talk and explore that. They also tell her she doesn't have to go home. She doesn't have to go to school and say, "Hey, I see dead people," which she doesn't. Because that's
yep.
uncomfortable. But if she wanted to, she could. You know. And when she wants to explore that side of her, I take her to a Paracon. I take her to,
Oh, yeah. I've
after.
hung out with her at a
Yeah,
Paracon.
I take her to
She's
Broadhaven.
amazing.
Yeah, I just take her to places that she can be her and explore that side of her.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and I think with kids these days, it's not about telling them, that's make believe or it's in your head. It's going, honey, what are you seeing? What
Exactly.
are you feeling? And you're finding people doing that versus exploring the opposite, which is what they used to do.
Yeah, and unfortunately, people weren't open-minded when we were younger,
Mm-mm.
so we weren't allowed to talk about this. And
Well,
that's why I believe my parents went and had me kinda closed back up for all them years, is
well,
because they wanted me to have a normal childhood. They didn't wanna get made fun of or get accused of anything.
well,
So,
and that's just it. Is like we were talking, you can't necessarily close somebody off. I mean, you can try, but
yeah,
everybody's got abilities. Everybody's a psychic, and I know a lot of mediums are, especially old school mediums, are going to kill me on this one. But everybody's a medium,
yeah,
because
everyone has the abilities.
everybody has the abilities. It's there. Everybody can go and play. If you do a lot of studying, anybody can go play brain surgery. You probably. I don't care how
Yeah,
many books I read, and I don't care if they give me a degree. It's not something you want me doing. It's not my path.
yep,
But everybody has the ability so that we can navigate, because that's why you got the quote unquote psychic abilities, that intuition to be able to navigate life, to know to take a right or a left turn, to know if there's danger or not. You have your fight or
mhm,
flight. Everybody will talk about that. Oh my God, I went there and oh, it just didn't feel right. Well, that's a psychic ability.
yeah,
That's in you. Mediumship, people talk about getting, visits from dreams or just knowing that grandma was there. That's mediumship. You can look it in the
yeah,
dictionary. That's mediumship. If you
yeah,
explore it, you can build upon it. But is it everybody's path to go talk to dead people for a job? No. But it doesn't mean you don't have it. And I think that's where we have a whole population that, for whatever reason, whether it be going all the way back to Salem witch trials or religion or society or whatever it might be, um, where it was said, no. And honestly, people don't realize it's not even that long ago.
right,
Back in 1852, the Fox sisters came out.
mhm,
They made it legal for mediums to stand on a stage and talk, talk to the other side. It was legal.
yeah,
People celebrated it. Spiritualism was born at that time. I mean,
yeah,
that's literally the first time spiritualism was there. It's not until like later in the 1800s, early 1900s where it became taboo. So,
right,
you know, a
you
lot of
know,
things happened around that 1900 time. So,
oh, yeah,
but 2000s are here and we're undoing it.
yes,
We're
every
undoing it.
day.
Yeah.
That's what I love about the time era we're in now. We can be open about this. We can do what we do. We can follow our natural paths, callings.
Yeah.
when it comes to this stuff. Because it's like, I want to be that voice for the voiceless. That's why I do this. I
Yeah.
want to inspire others who have maybe walked a similar path for generations to come.
Yeah.
So that's what I love about the fact that we have the technology to leave our thumbprint behind.
Hmm.
And we have the openness that we can actually show people, hey, this is who we are. This is what we do.
Hmm. Very
Yeah.
true. Very true. I was just saying it's Gen X that did it. Just saying.
Gen X, faithful.
Well, I mean, we're just going, you know what? You can't do anything else to us. We see dead people too. Whatever. What you gonna do to
Right.
me?
Exactly.
What else are you gonna do to me?
You know, that's why we hang out in dark buildings. We like to F around and find out.
That's right. That's right. And I see dead people, so I see them
Yeah.
coming. I see you coming. They tell me all about it.
I feel them and they implant stuff into my head. What can I say?
There you go. There you go. So,
Mhm.
but yeah, tons of stuff going on. Tons more coming up. It's just
Yeah.
it's exciting times. It really is exciting times right now.
So now I did notice you were Psychic Speedrun. What's that all about?
Oh my gosh, that is a creation of myself and Larry Eisler the third, and it's no secret he's been absconding me for a few years now,
Yeah.
and we've done Facebook lives on it multiple times where he just, I don't know where I'm going, we're clueless, but he'd taken me to the Tinker Cottage, and this is back in the I don't know, November. It was cold, so maybe November or something like that.
Yeah.
And we did our normal absconding where you know, he doesn't tell me where I'm going. He just literally goes, "Hey, DeEtte, what are you doing on this date?" Nothing. Okay. And my all I ask is, what time are you picking me up? How long am I gonna be gone? And what should I wear? Because he knows I cannot be cold. And that's all the information I have. That's it. So he literally picked me up, and this place was only like 45 minutes away. I'm like, where the heck is only 45? No, there's no haunted places 45 minutes from me. I had no clue. And so about 10 minutes out, of course, he pulls over and he, wires me up and wires up the car. We start the live, and we pull in and I see Tinker Cottage and I get all excited. I'm like excited as heck because I heard all about this place, but I don't remember anything. I just remember the Tinker Cottage, other than that, because
Yeah.
I don't listen. I'm a horrible, I don't listen. So he's like, let's just go see what you get. And I'm like, okay. So we were there and we were outside for over an hour, which is not good. DeEtte in the cold for over an hour is not good. Okay.
No. This is a
And
lady who wears a thermal heated jacket in the spring inside Broadhead Manor.
yes, and heated
Battery
socks.
powder.
Yeah,
Yeah, and heated
heated
socks.
socks and
So,
still cold with extra batteries.
yeah.
And but he took me there and we were doing this. It was really cool because for an hour we were outside and I'm like, I don't know where you got me, but oh my gosh, I see children running around. I see a river that was much bigger than it is right now, and I see the kids playing in there, and I see them running around. And over here, there's like a cemetery that I can't get to, and over there, I want to go over there because I'm seeing military over here, but it doesn't make sense because I'm hearing pow, 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 and it's not like he's having me describe the bullets I'm hearing, and I'm like, because I'm not, I don't understand guns, so I'm explaining to him, he's just got his funky faces going on back here. And then we walk to another place, and I keep saying that I feel like I'm at the Winchester house because I keep feeling like the house keeps growing and changing. I couldn't figure out that one. And then we keep walking. Next thing you know, I'm walking in with a limp, and he was, "What's going on?" I said, "Well, Robert here, his hip hurts." He's like, I get a name. I mean, oh my God, who is the owner? He built the house, and ended up having a foot cut off. I mean, eventually the whole foot was cut off, and then he goes, "Well, go stand over there." I said, "What, on the Indian Native American burial ground?" He's like, "How the hell do you know this?" I don't know. I just, here we go. And there was so much going on. And then, of course, we're able to get into the house with the museum director, and so much more came through. And it was so much fun. And he looked at me, goes, "We just need to make this a show. It's never been done." And I'm like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "We're going to abscond you, but we're only going to give you 30 minutes. You're going to give me what? 30 minutes. I'm like, "Okay." I said, "So I'm going to have a stopwatch." He goes, "Yeah, you're going to have a stopwatch. We're going to walk into, you're not going to know where you're going. We're going to do our drive up. where you're getting that wonderful stuff, and we're gonna get there. We're gonna get you out of the car. You're gonna walk in. The historian or the owner of the building will stand, for future ones, they'll stand behind Larry. And I've got 30 minutes. I hit a buzzer, and I've got 30 minutes to go through the whole building and talk to as many spirits as I can and get all the residuals. And when the buzzer goes off, I'm done. The cool thing about this is, of course, Larry's got to know what's going on.
Yeah.
One, he has this big apparatus he carries. I'm sure plenty of people have seen it in pictures. So
Yep.
he's a big guy. So him trying to get through this, it's like, but
I can see it.
he's got it. I said he had to have a camera on him at all times. Like, I'm not going to be so he's got this camera on him showing all of his funny faces. Like, he gets the weirdest faces. You know what I mean? It's hilarious. I never get to see him though, so everybody else tells me about him. So it's really turned into a neat concept. So, and then after 30 minutes, the person who owns it, the historian, comes out and tells me what I did or did not get correct. So, yeah,
Awesome. Sounds like a blast.
it's been presented to some places, and who knows? It might get picked up, it may not. If it's
Right.
supposed to, it will. If not, it'll just be a vibe of Scouting Adventures, and Larry put it on YouTube or someplace. I don't know. He'll do what Larry does.
Right. It'll be out there eventually
I
somewhere.
just go, let's go do it. Let's have fun, and wherever it's supposed to be, it's supposed to be.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah,
You've had a blast.
I'm.
And then let's see, what else have you done? Psychics at Sea.
I did.
That-
Yeah, that was different.
I
Yeah.
thought that's a cool concept.
It was a really cool concept, not well put together.
Yeah.
And that's okay. That's okay. I decided I'm not a cruising person. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
I've never been on a big boat like that, so I don't know how I'd be.
I thought I'd be amazing because I love getting on small boats. I love it, love it, love it. It's a different when you're on something and you think you're in a building and it's not supposed to move, and I can feel the water swaying underneath the boat, like that's in the boat stabilizing. I can feel that. And they're like, the
Yeah.
boat's not moving. I'm like, heck if it isn't. I can feel it.
Right.
So then I had to get in a hot tub that night to join the waves to stop the sea motion. But then I sailed for about
It's a
2
good
weeks.
excuse just to get in a hot tub,
Yeah, well, there you go. But yeah, I was still sailing about 2 weeks afterwards. My sea legs would not go away.
It's kind of like how if I'm stuck in the vehicle too long, I vibrate for hours, if not days afterwards when I go
Yeah,
on long road trips.
yeah. So, it'll take a lot to get me on another cruise. I'm not the party person. I'm just not, you know?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I know that. You're the wholesome, innocent type.
I used to party. I just don't party anymore.
Yeah.
And I'd rather go by land or air.
I go by land everywhere, so
Land or air.
I've never flown. I know eventually one day I will.
Yes.
I'll have to jump on a plane and go to a Paracon somewhere, but
Oh my
if I
gosh.
can drive it, I prefer it.
I see a plane go up and my heart just starts beating like, oh, I need to be there. That's where I should be. That's where I should be. Why am I not up? I need my own. I'm putting out there my own private plane. I just need my own private. Bring it in so I can go everywhere.
All right, well, you got to take me with you then.
There you go. There you go.
Yep.
So
Definitely. Now, we've talked that you're a medium and everything else,
mhm.
but you started originally as a profession back in medical, wasn't it?
I was a nurse. Yeah, I was a
Now,
nurse.
with having these abilities and having dead people talk to you, how rough was it to have that kind of job? Because I imagine I worked at a clinic and it drove me nuts with all the energy. I could,
Well,
but you're more advanced or different style than how they communicate with me. So,
yeah, but back then I didn't know who I was. You
yeah,
know, I had no clue. I look back over my life and it was there. It's always been there. Um, I do remember once I went Reiki though, is when my life started to kind of change,
hmm
within the medical field, because I could feel my patient's pain. I could feel things going on with them. Um, Somehow I knew what to say or how to act excuse me, with my patients to get, them to heal, get them to do what they needed to get done. You know, push them further than maybe somebody else would have pushed them, to get them out of that bed and get them to recover. And then it just kind of kept going because that's when I started to find me and the psychic medium part of me. Of course, I'd walked away from nursing for a few years, and that's when this showed up. You
Mhm.
know, and I mean, I'd gone crazy in my head. My empathic nature blew up, and now I understand empath is not something you want to be because it's just being uncontrolled. You know what I mean? It's just empath. You're just feeling everybody's stuff, and you have no control over it.
Yeah.
So
It's hard
literally,
to
yeah,
block them out.
my empathic nature blew up. I mean, I was not a pleasant person. I didn't like myself, and but nobody knew what was going on. And I didn't know what was going on. So I fell into
Mhm.
classes and started to figure out who I was and this part of me. And then I went back to nursing, and you know, it wouldn't have been that big of a deal. I was kind of living like a Superman life, if that
Mhm.
makes sense. So I was working 50 hours at least of 60 hours Monday through Friday. And I remember one week driving 45 minutes north to go to work. And I put 60 hours in that week between Monday and Friday. I got out of work Friday, drove home, went to sleep, woke up the next morning, got on a plane, flew to Washington, sat in Washington, got off the plane, drove an hour away, did a gallery that night, went to go to bed, got up the next morning, went to the fish market in Washington, got back in a plane, was home that night by 9:30, and I was back on the floor at 6 o'clock the next morning back at that same place. And nobody having a clue who I was. I mean,
Yeah.
I was a nurse by weekday and I was a medium by weekend, and I was everywhere. I mean, I was traveling the states back then, and keeping a very hush hush and secret because oh my gosh, what if they found out? And then
Yeah.
a place found out, and I thought it'd be to my demise, and it was the opposite. Instead of people, talking badly about me. One of them hired me to do, readings at her house for a party. I'm like, "Are you kidding me?"
Yeah.
And next thing I know, if they had a patient that was having a hard time struggling or having a struggle time passing, they come and grab me and say, "Hey, DeEtte, can you come sit with him for a minute?" "Yeah, no problem." Because family wasn't there or something. I'd sit by their side and hold their hand. I do a mini reading for them,
Yeah.
and just kind of let them know it was okay. And when you start doing more of that and less in the nursing, you start to realize you're in the wrong profession.
Mhm.
You're in the wrong profession. And then honestly, that's when my kids that I don't talk a lot about really, especially my son, came into my viewfinders in my mind because, I've always told my kids, find something you love, find your passion, and then do that for a job. And who
Yep.
cares what anybody thinks? But I wasn't living that at all, you know? And at some point, you have to go and get to live this. So, my kids will look at me. They know who I am. We don't talk about it. I mean, I'm just mom.
Mhm.
But I have that standing ground now. I can say, you know what, do what you want. And if I'm trying to be an example, I gave up a perfectly solid, sound career to go talk to dead people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and who knows what was going to happen? I didn't. I just trusted it.
Yeah. That's at the point where I'm trying to get to. There's still, I stepped out into this world publicly after my youngest boy turned 18.
Yeah.
Prior to that, you'd see me on YouTube with the teams and stuff like that. But it was after he turned 18 where I was like, all right, well, I'm going to start doing this more and actually following my dreams and you know, my path,
Right.
and there's times and it's hard because the paranormal particularly doesn't pay all that great.
No.
It's either feast or famine.
Hmm.
You might go out to a con and end up having a great weekend. It pays for itself. You can pay the bills, and then you'll have like a weekend where you kind of go upside down real quick.
I've spent a lot of years traveling, so I get
Yeah.
it. I mean, Somebody told me this last couple of weeks ago, DeEtte, you put in your time. You
Yeah,
put it in. Like I've spent, 2016 is when I started traveling,
yeah,
doing small events. And it was actually probably closer to 2013 that I was carrying a table. I carried my Reiki table from Hayward down to Marshall, Wisconsin to do Reiki at an event, and 2 years later I was doing readings and I have traveled. Literally, I've traveled to Scotland and done readings. I've traveled to I've traveled 3 different countries, I've done
you know,
readings in Canada, I've done readings in Scotland, Ireland, Mexico, I mean, been there, done that, but it's been a
that's how you know you're on your path because
yeah,
all the opportunities that opened.
well, they do, and then they disappear and you go, "Oh, oh," like, was this a
Yeah,
one-hit wonder? And you go, "Am I supposed to be doing this?" But it's a lot of trust. It's a lot of
yep,
going, "Okay, you know, I got this." I didn't hit it big on the TV. I didn't
right,
get it, my opportunities came because literally multiple events.
yep,
I mean, I can't tell you for like 3 years, 4 years, I would be in Minnesota on a Saturday at a metaphysical event, and then Sunday, I was on the other side of Wisconsin over by Green Bay,
yep.
and I did that multiple weekends, all the time. It was crazy, I
Yep,
mean,
the old Highway 29 drive.
yeah, I loved it. I still love it, you know? I
Yeah,
I still love it. It's just I also do, I don't just do metaphysical anymore. I do a lot of paracons, I do a
yeah.
lot of individual events, and this year I'm gonna do it, I'm doing my own retreat. Like
Nice, nice.
oh yeah, I'm
Yeah,
collaborating with some amazing people out there. So
you
um
know,
yeah,
with me, people ask, well, if you're not making money, why do you do it?
why
I
not?
go, it's for the one person that walks away from my table that I helped,
Yeah,
whether it was knowledge, whether it was I helped heal something that
yep,
they're, or I inspired them.
yeah.
Them are, for them reasons.
Mhm.
That's worth more than anything to me.
Oh, it
You
is.
know,
It is. I mean, to bring awareness, and I always say to see somebody's tears, to see those tears.
you know,
You know, I I won't lie, I'll tell people I strive to make people cry. I strive for it. And then when somebody tries to hand me tissue, I look at don't you do that. I can put that tissue away. And they look at me like I'm like, no, because it's easy to dry up the tears, but when we dry them up, we stop crying and we stop
yeah,
healing. So
exactly.
if I've touched them that part where that little bit of healing starts to spark, let it come. Let it come because it was really hard earned by them. I didn't have to do much. I just had to see that little spark in them that just said, "Here, poke me." Poke me and allow this to come out. Allow me to heal. So it's beautiful.
It is.
It's beautiful.
It is. And it's so rewarding.
It
It really-
is.
You you can't save everyone, but if you can help someone, though, it's great.
Yeah.
And I encourage, I was brought up in a world where you don't charge for your readings,
Mhm.
you don't use your gifts for personal gain. So I think to me, that's where I get more of my fulfillment. Yeah, my time is worth something,
Mhm.
but what it means to me is how I helped you.
Right. But you still have to pay your bills.
Exactly. And that's the hard part, you know?
Mhm.
So that's why like my friends and family or anyone close to me, they ask me. I've even had coworkers ask for a reading. A lot of times I won't charge, because I'm helping,
Mhm.
you know. At an event, I actually had one where I sat down and gentleman came down. He had an autistic daughter with him, and like, well, how much for you to read for her? To connect to her, because they had heard that I've had autistic children
Right.
and I have a background in that. I'm like, nothing. Sit down. Let's talk.
Right.
And I was able to make that connection with her and help them on another form connect with her.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, remember the moments that just
They're
like
beautiful.
yeah, they keep you moving.
Mhm.
It's like, yeah, this is where I need to be, you know. But on the other spectrum now, have you ever had moments with the paranormal where you had that oh shit moment? What the hell am I doing?
Yeah, that comes with Larry too.
How'd I know?
Bet you he's not listening tonight, is he?
No, I haven't talked to him about bringing him on yet since we
Yeah.
started the show back up. He's been on quite a few times in the past, though.
He's busy. I think him and Brittany are off doing something with Echoes tonight or something. Or
Yeah,
I don't know. So I can talk about him because he's not listening.
talk about it
Listen
anyways.
to
If he's
Larry.
got a problem with him, he can settle it with me.
It's funny. No, it's actually my first absconding with Larry. My very first one. It was when he was with Dan still, Dan Norvell. And they were still together doing Expedition Entity. And they wrote a book together about Bad Axe, and the Apache is it the Apache? Bad Axe Massacre, apologize. Um, anyway, so, Larry did what are you doing on this date? And, this is how much I listened because I'd had him on my show a month and a half before, and he did talking all about it. Like
Yeah,
how him and Dan were all about this. They so much research and so much passion, and the anniversary is coming up, and I'm like, yeah, yeah, I'm not even there apparently. Apparently I wasn't supposed to know. Because sometime later he got a hold of me. What are you doing on this date? Nothing. My famous last words, nothing. And yes, I'll show up. And and it's so funny because he always brings this part up. Talk about the lunchbox because I travel with lunch boxes to all my events. I don't eat much, so to
yeah.
order a meal someplace just as foolish. So I bought this lunchbox and didn't like it from the get-go. I'm like, why did I buy this? I wanted that one. Should have bought that one, but I bought this one and I'm just gonna use the damn lunchbox. And anyway, this absconding happens. He picks me up and well, that morning I kept thinking I need to wear a dress. Well, it's August 2nd. It's hot. I'm not wearing a to the floor dress.
Right.
But I kept hearing you need to wear a dress. Nope, not doing it. I put on jeans and a t-shirt and went, whatever, I'm going to go. And they picked me up and off we went. And it's a 5-hour drive up there because it's, Bad Axe, Wisconsin. It's past DeSoto and quite a ways. And we get there and honestly, he has it as a workshop all over the place. So anybody that's seen that workshop and he plays it in a lot of events. It's really cool. Because some really amazing stuff came through and I proved to him who I was. And to me, at the end of the day, that was the best thing is that, he was questioning, what chief I was talking to. I was getting frustrated, these two going back and forth. I'm like, oh my God, I got to pee. What the hell's it with all these damn sparrows around here? And I got up and walked away. And Larry's mouth went, and Dan goes, told you that's who she was talking about too. Apparently it was Chief Sparrow, who wasn't really a chief. He was the medicine dude and blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? But everybody followed him like a chief. And then later on, we were, doing stuff with, I think a necromancer or something. I don't know. And I kept going, who's the father? I have the father. Who's the father? And they're like, I don't know. They're blowing me off. I'm like, I have the father. Who's the father? I don't. And they were thinking it was the president at the time, that maybe he was coming through. And later on, when Larry was reviewing everything, literally right after I said, I have the father, a name comes through clear as can be. And it was Chief Sparrow's dad's name,
Okay.
and it's right there. And Larry's again going, oh my God, this is incredible. Of course, I have no clue. I have no clue how much I've hit. I mean, because they didn't tell me. It wasn't until like days later I found out. But later on, me and Paige were supposed to shoot our part. I kept telling her, did you research? I kept feeling like I had a lady that was like 700 years ago. She's like, I felt like I had to wear a dress too. That's really weird. But she's like, I'm sorry, I didn't research that far back, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, we'll just try to forget about her. I don't know. And we finished up our time there, got in the car and started driving back. And Dan is a really big history buff. He loves history. So of course there's this historical sign on the side of the road about DeSoto, Wisconsin. He's got to stop and, pull over and look at it. And I think in hindsight, he would not have pulled over. because literally, we pulled over and he's reading. I looked down and they got this extra part, and it's about this woman that was like 700 years ago died. And I looked at Paige, I went, Paige! And I sucked in something, like something jumped in, instant vertigo. And I didn't know what something had like jumped in me at that time, but I had instant vertigo. And I like literally about hit the floor, and I was sitting on the edge of the road on this pillar, and I was calling out for Chris Fleming because I felt like I was jumping time, because in true Larry nature, he's got the phone like this, inches from my face, because he's gone live stream for views, and I'm going, Chris Fleming, where are you? I feel like I'm jumping timelines. I don't know what's going on, and I'm half laughing about it because I don't know what to do, but I'm terrified. I was like terrified because I'm like, I don't know what's happening. And of course, he's videotaped it, and eventually we were able to get me back in the car, and I proceeded to vomit into this lovely lunch bag that I didn't like. So I'm never using it again. I got the one I wanted, just so y'all know. So I ruined my lunch bag. They ended up getting Dramamine to drug me up so I could sleep. Finally got me home, and some of the vertigo stopped. They left me here at home because I told them to leave me alone, and they left. I got into comfy clothes, and it started back up horribly. My daughter and my granddaughter got me to the emergency room, and they called a stroke code on me. And then they thought I was about to have a heart attack. And, I'd just been in the doctor's office a week earlier for my yearly, and all my labs were normal. Well, my labs were not normal anymore. I'd plummeted everything. Like, everything was down, way down, to where even the doctor was like, there's no medical way without draining me, these could have dropped. So he looked at everything. I wasn't having a stroke. I wasn't having a heart attack. And he came in, he shut the door. He goes, I can treat your symptoms, but you need to go find out from somebody other than me, like, leading towards a spiritual community to take care of whatever was inside of me. I mean, he was just like, I can't take care of this, but it was like, what are you doing today? Ghost hunting. Why? I see dead people. I mean, I was honest. Here you go. I mean, they would research me. They went and looked at my own doctor's notes. They talked to a CNA that knew me from high school. They went, no, she's the real deal. Like, she's not on crack, and it just later on, I talked to people like Scotty Rourke, who I love, and his words were, you won't do that twice, will you? Because I didn't get jumped by one. Two things went in me. One went in front, one went through the back. Dan got one of them to release for me and cross over, the female to cross over a few days after that, or almost a week actually after that. And a good friend of mine, Lisa, got the other one out 2 weeks later, and she had to deal with it at her house for a while, but it's gone now. Patty Nigri, I talked to her in depth about it, and she was like, she gave me all kinds of lessons on protecting myself, things I did not know I needed to do, and things I do now.
Bubble up.
Well, it's not even bubbling up. It's because I'm a trance medium. I'm a trance medium. So, and when they trance, they come in back here. So she's like, gotta shut that back there. Gotta shut it. And I actually carry, if I can get it down. Nope, it's not going to come down. It's a Nordic symbol. No, it ain't coming down. It's a Nordic symbol for protection that I carry with me on some of the investigations now. Just to help ground, to shield me, put a little bit extra faith, along with a lot of prayers. So, but it was probably the scariest, but again, I learned so much from it, it was amazing because for a long time I felt like, oh my God, am I crazy? Did this really happen? Like, I mean, physically I knew, but talking to Scotty was like, nope, you're not crazy. Talking to, Chris more recently, nope, you're not crazy. I talked to Mike Ricksecker, sent him a message. He's like, nope, you're not crazy. This is what you were doing, And these are these really intelligent people, that really spent a lot of time in books and really studying. They're like, no, this is what happened. Like, we've seen the live, or what you're telling us. You technically possessed, possession had happened, so. But again, it's really right.
They seen an invitation.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's why I tell people that don't know what they're doing, don't
Mm.
try it, don't invite it, don't let it, you
I've
know.
lost I've lost friends since then because I've looked at them and they ask me questions. I'm like, "Ugh, told you not to do. Don't, like, mm." And they get mad because it's like I will get upset with them. Like, we've had this conversation. I've talked to you. I've educated you. And then you come at me and you tell me you did it. And
Mhm.
why are you putting you or your family in jeopardy? Why are you doing that? Don't. Just
Yeah,
don't, you know? Um,
be
because,
smart.
well, against popular belief, we cannot force, a spirit out. We can't force an entity out. We're
Mhm.
human. We can't do
Yeah,
it. You need prayer, you need angels, you need stuff on the other side to do the work. And
yep.
I think as humans, sometimes our ego gets a little bit bigger than we are and think that we can do it, and we really can't.
It's not us, it's our team that does it.
Yeah, it's a whole lot of
It's
work.
those on the other side that we work with and that watch
Yeah,
over us. They're the
it's
ones that make
110%.
everything happen. It makes everything happen for us.
Yeah,
They're the ones that truly protect us when we go in these dark places.
yeah. I mean, I learned my lesson really early on. Thank God I learned it when I did. Because now I've walked into some places and went, "Yep, gotta bubble up on this one."
Mhm.
But I've had, I've listened to Chip Coffey and his lectures on how to protect yourself and where to put your faith. I've listened to Scotty Rourke and what he does, and Patty. I've talked to them all. And what do you do? This is what I do. This is what I do.
Yep.
And you know what? They're all very similar.
Yeah.
And
When people ask, I don't claim to be professional.
mhm,
I don't claim to know everything. I can tell them
right,
what I do and how I do things.
mhm.
If it resonates with them and it works with them, great.
If
You
not,
know,
try something else.
yep.
Yep.
It's all in the person's personal beliefs. That's what it boils down to. You have to
Oh,
have that core belief in something.
you know what? I love it because that's what Chip Coffey says. And I learned this. I took my mother to one of his shows, an intimate show with Scott Adels,
Mhm.
and he talks about. He goes, "Hey," and he pulls this out. I think it's a cross of David he wears. He goes, or something. It's like, "This is where my faith is." He goes, "If yours is a crucifix, put a crucifix on it. If it's a rock, put a rock on. If you pick up a popsicle pop can top and you think this is your faith, that is your faith." He's like, "It
That's
doesn't
all.
matter what it is." He goes, "If you have faith in it, that's what's going to protect you. It's having a
Mhm.
faith." And I thought that was the most powerful lesson you could learn. It really is. Scotty Rourke does it a little bit easier. I don't know if you ever investigating with him, but
Not yet, but we are got something in the works.
oh my gosh, when he
We've
goes
been
out
talking.
and when he teaches people, when he takes them out, he tells them, "I want you to pick up a handful of rocks outside, and you're going to look at the building. You're going to look at the spirits, and as long as I have these on my person, you can talk to me. But when I leave and I put them back on the earth, we're done. You stay with the rocks."
You know?
you know and I'm like, wow, what a powerful way to open and close, and a powerful way to say, you know what, I'm going to make sure I leave these rocks here.
Yeah.
But then again, it's also in the user of it. I mean, I talked to one lady, she goes, "I do what you told me to do." I suppose, yeah, Sky. She goes, "I do it every time." I said, "What?" She goes, "They don't shut up." I go, "Why don't they shut? Why isn't it working?" She goes, "Because I keep forgetting to leave the rocks there."
See, now when I go out, I drop tobacco and I say, "Hey,
Yeah,
I'm here to talk to you. I'm here to hang out with you, get your story, to honor you, blah, 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 blah." And I drop tobacco. Before I do, I also tell them, when it's time for me to go, you must stay here. You
yeah,
can't follow me,
yeah,
and I drop it and we go off and do our thing and I say goodbye when I leave.
exactly.
There's been one or two investigations where I haven't done that. And I had some children follow me home for one of the very first investigations I've done publicly. And
Right,
they hung out for a while. And then when I realized that they were there and I wasn't just going nuts seeing, little shadows out of the corner of my eyes, I was like, all right, guys, you got to go.
right.
And that's when I learned to go, okay, now I got to do something to make sure every time they
Hmm.
understand what the rules are.
Right. And you have
Mhm.
to. People don't realize that's what you need to do. You
You
know.
know, and again, everyone that has watched this show, another thing I preach about is sacred space versus safe space.
Hmm.
You have to claim your sacred space and let those know that what is and what isn't allowed in it.
Hmm.
Don't ever say, this is my safe space. That means you're already in harm.
Yeah.
And that's another thing that a lot of people get the misconception with when they're out doing what we do.
Hmm.
Our homes are our sacred spaces.
Yeah.
So if first you claim it as a sacred space, they're not going to be able to follow you in.
Right.
You know,
Nope, I agree. I agree. You know, a lot of it's all in intention. People just have
exactly.
to realize it's intention, but you have to set the intention.
Yep. Definitely. I've had moments where I've played with some things that weren't so nice and tried to keep me from coming to a location.
Hmm.
But when I got there, I did my normal routine and basically then I said, okay, if this is how you're going to be with me here, baffle. And I left it at that.
Right. That's all you
And,
can do.
you know,
Yep.
so now we're getting close to the end of the hour here.
Yes, sir.
Where can people find you if they want to get a
Oh
hold
my
of you?
good gracious. Well,
Self plug time.
my website, DeEtteRenee.com, just got that live again. It's been down since beginning December. So super excited. That went live last week. So you
Nice.
can find me there again. My old domain will be back up and running in end of June, July, and it'll be attached to this one. But the ethers took it for 6 months. I will get it back though. So but on that website, you'll see a calendar of events page. And it's places that I will be in the very near coming future. One of them is in 2 weeks, I'll be at Days of the Dead in Chicago. Excuse
Nice.
me. I love going to Days of the Dead. Anybody knows me. I've got my mediums lounge down there. My granddaughter comes there with me. I'm doing some events with Soul and Synergy, where we're taking on not just the event that they're having, but also a Friday night trance night where I go into trance and allow my guides to come through. We're doing one of those in Dubuque, Iowa, I believe, and then I think Rochester, Minnesota. And both of those are before May. Um,
Okay.
May 23rd, I'm with Chris Fleming. We're doing Spirit Talk Live, A Journey of the Soul and Messages from Beyond.
Nice.
We're doing that at the Aquascape Pond Shop down in St. Charles, Illinois. It's a full day presentation with Chris. And then I'm doing a gallery, and then we're going to come back together, do a panel. Excuse me. And then in mid-June, I'm back up to the Palmer House again, and it's myself and Chris Fleming and Sarah Lamos and Dave Schrader. And I don't know what we're doing yet, but we're all getting together just to have a lot of fun up there and just bringing a lot of people in because that place is amazing. I love the Palmer House.
You know,
You
I'm
know,
gonna have to get a hold of Chris because you're the second person today who's brought him up in my
oh,
conversations.
Chris is amazing. I love Chris.
There's a reason for this here.
Oh, you know what?
I haven't talked to him in a few years since I ran into him last in Chicago.
I agree with you because people were bringing it up to me last year, and I've got not one, not two, but 3 events with Chris this year because we're working together in September, I think it is.
Okay.
Him and I down in Illinois with Neil Gibbons, and then I follow up, with the end of the year with a retreat that I'm doing up at the Palmer House. So, just,
Right.
I mean, there's a lot of other things in between, but those are the big things happening so far this year. So, and of course, there's the
There you
Days
go.
of the Dead in November. If you want the year out, I don't know.
Well, I might be able to make that one. This spring I won't be able to make because I actually will be working on a project somewhere.
I love that. I love
Yes,
that.
I got some projects I've signed on to, so
Good.
there's gonna be some bigger things coming down the chutes. Eventually, I'll be able to speak on.
I love that. That's what we need to do.
Yeah,
More of that. More of
yeah.
that. That's
We got to get out and take care of ourselves.
Yeah, it's doing your passion. When you do your passion, what you're
Hmm.
supposed to be doing is I don't feel like you really have to necessarily always go search for it because it's gonna show up in like right here. It's gonna show up right here.
Yeah,
This is what you're supposed to be doing.
yeah.
I mean, I didn't set out to be anything other than show up and be a medium. You
Yeah,
know, and,
yeah. When I stepped out just to be a little old Rezneck to
mhm,
go, investigate and talk to spirits. And in the last 5, 6 years, look how far it's taken me.
yeah,
I never would have dreamed this.
no,
People keep telling me, "Oh, you're becoming a star." I don't see it. I don't feel it, but thank you.
neither
If
do
you're
I.
all are saying it, you're all are speaking it. Thank you. I appreciate it. I love you for it. But I still feel like just a little plain old Jane Resnick.
Yep, that's
You
I feel
know,
you on that one. I feel you on that one.
you know.
So,
So, all right. Well, any last words or thoughts, my dear?
just keep doing your passions. Keep doing your passion, and what you're supposed to do in life is gonna fall in your lap. You don't need a psychic to tell you that one,
Yeah.
so save your time, save your money, you know, use your psychic for your bigger questions, and just know that as long as you're following what you love doing, you're gonna do what you're supposed to there's no question you're always gonna be doing what you're supposed to be doing.
Yes. That fits along with a theme that I've been saying all summer. And that is don't dream your life out. Don't dream your life away. Get out there and live your dreams today.
That's right.
I've put that on more billboards. I've spoken, I don't know how many times over the last year now, but you have to do it.
Mhm.
You never know when it's going to be too late. You
Right.
don't take the what ifs with you. Go
Right.
out and do it.
Exactly. Exactly.
You know. So all right then. I think we're just at the 58-minute mark, so close enough to an hour. Thank you again for tuning
Thank you,
in.
Raz. I appreciate you.
Check out DeEtte's channels. Check out her website. Go see her. Get a reading. She is amazing. She's read for me in the past. I've seen her work. She's legit real. All right.
Thank you, Raz.
Also, if you want to support the channel, remember to like, share, and subscribe, both Red Road Paranormal and All Access. And if you also would like to help the fund the paranormal side of the adventures we get to do, please stop by the Rezneck Ink Printify shop. The links should be in the description. But get a Red Road t-shirt or one of the other funny ones I got on there. See right there's the link, guys. So check it out. Please help support us all. And if you want to be on the show, reach out to me. Let me know. I'd be happy to talk to anyone about any of your experiences, any things on your journeys. I'm open for anything. So with that, I'd like to say good night.